Hello, my friends. So, I welcome you again in the love and the light of the one Creator. And in today's session, I am asking about, Bill Gates. And, I asked about Bill Gates, and turns out, the thing is actually more, it goes more deeper, than we thought. And I never thought about these kinds of things that Ra is saying here in the session. It's actually like very mind opening, you know what I mean? And the thing is that anything is possible, um, in this planet, right? Because we are living in an illusion, in essence, as per Ra. The world we see around is an illusion meant us to teach us the lessons of life. So in today's session, Ra discusses not only how Bill Gates, actually the real Bill Gates, died in 2004 and was replaced by a reptilian. Ra explains the process, how this happened, how the soul switch happened, okay? And also, Ra tells us about, what are the agendas that Bill Gates has, this current Bill Gates has. And I always wondered, how come a person as Bill Gates, who was interested in computer science, goes from computer science to making, this thing, right? The jab, making the jab, and trying to do, medical things. It's crazy, he has turned from a computer scientist to a medical person, okay? And also he is like buying a lot of land, which I don't know, he is rich enough, so why does he need land? He must have an agenda. So I asked, and turns out he has a lot of agenda, and we were not aware of this. Many of us were aware, but some of the information revealed today is mind blowing for me. And also Ra talks about the divorce that Bill Gates and Melinda Gates have. So please listen to the session, after which I will give you a brief breakdown of what I understood from the session. And once again, here is the session.
I am Ra, and we greet you in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator who is within each of you and each of the different entities in the cosmos. The world you see with your visual complex is the Creator, my beloved friends. Today we are connected with this instrument. However, before we share our insights on the query, please keep in your mind complex that your discernment is vital to preserve for us, and only accept insights that deeply resonate with your inner heart. Before we share anything with you, keep your mind open and, like a tuning fork, only accept insights that resonate with your heart. The world is created, beloved, understand this. The world is created by your thoughts and actions. So what thoughts did you have today? The world and the world of creation is within yourself. There is the Creator within each of you, and we are here today to answer a certain query placed by this instrument regarding the agendas of one entity known as Bill Gates in your language vibratory sound complex terms. At these times on your planet, this entity known as Bill Gates, in essence, let us tell you clearly in simple vibratory sound complex terms, that this entity is a so-called human being. However, it has made several agreements with the so-called species from the Orion constellation and their subordinate reptilians. In essence, this entity crossed over on the year 2004. However, the truth sayings that your kind calls and your vibratory sound distortions have been hidden from your people's observation. We are telling you today is in fact what occurred on your plane, that is around you, surrounding you. However, much of the information has been hidden by the majority of your so-called media outlets. This entity, known as Bill, had crossed over in the year 2004 of your timeline after suffering from a disease. However, many people do not know about this because this has been layered up by the illusion of third density information by the so-called media as well as many of the other members of this entity's collective. This entity known as Bill has been under the creation and under the work of the oneness. Bill Gates is in essence a so-called soul switch of the reptilian entities. This entity known as Bill has been soul swapped by the so-called reptilians. In essence, this entity currently is not a human being. Many entities on your planet do not understand how soul switch works or a soul swap works in essence. Let us tell you, when an entity is not able to handle a certain situation, it creates new soul contracts instead of completely leaving the physical vehicle and leaving the planet. This entity asks for help and assistance from the so-called negative-oriented entities. In essence, this entity made agreements or soul agreements with the so-called Orions who put in a reptilian soul in this physical vehicle of the one known as Bill. In essence, Bill Gates is not a human soul. The soul that he has is that of a reptilian since the year 2004. This is also the reason why many times you may feel and realize that this entity known as Bill is focused more on the creation of genetic altering materials that will have effect on your people. All these ideas that this entity who used to be a so-called technologically oriented person has completely changed its route to become a so-called genetic expert. This is what happens to souls when they begin to understand. And when they become soul swapped, they have completely changed their course. They begin to understand that they will change the course of reality, and now this entity known as Bill is completely focused and engorged upon the so-called genetic mutation program of the reptilian entities that is going on the planet Earth at this moment. Even though these entities cannot directly infringe on Earth, they can influence people such as these entities who request their assistance. We as the RA Collective are here just as messengers of the law of one, and many of these information accept it are rejected. This is what is going on in the planet, for there is a hidden reality which your so-called media will not so acknowledge and place before your people's mind complex. This reality is going on around you. This entity known as Bill further has direct contacts with the so-called reptilians and is being physically and psychically manipulated to build more wealth so that this entity could have a drastic, huge impact on the planet. In essence, this entity is also collecting the so-called lands on your planets, which are an important resource for humanity. And this entity is also working with the creation of the so-called life on human form. This entity known as Bill is working on creating a world disguising as a helper, and is in essence working with the reptilians to create their own programs and spread the effects of the gene encoding program on planet Earth. This is also a kind of push towards the final order. In essence, currently on Earth, reptilians cannot directly emerge. Therefore, they have taken this entity known as Bill as hostage and have given him everything he wanted when he was young. He required assistance from these entities known as the reptilians during the times when he was not successful. He was assisted and he got assistance from these reptilians. And now has enough wealth in your language terms to have a huge impact on the planet. This is what is occurring on the planet at the moment. Please understand that we are going to explain to you how this concept of soul switch works, which may be very important for you all to understand in the coming sessions. Today, as this instrument always says in his language terms, remember, love and mercy is the way. However, many forget that love can be shown even in negative situations. Therefore, instead of showing negativity towards this entity, your people must be aware of what is going on and then use that awareness to open your visual and mind-body-spirit complex and accept what can be possibly done about it, for the world is your creation, beloveds. We are going to explain you one thing known as soul switch in the future session. Let us further tell you that every soul contract and every soul swap has an end time as well. And the time of ending for this soul contract in the form of the one known as Bill Gates will occur on the year 2021 at around August 26th. That is the end of the soul contract timeline for this entity on this planet, on this timeline. Recently, the beings known as Bill and Melinda in your language terms have decided to play a 3D drama in your planet in order to contradict and confuse humanity of their perspectives. Because of the mass attention they are currently receiving regarding the so-called agenda of entities known as Bill and Melinda. Hence, they decided to play a drama of separation. However, this is opposite of the reality that is occurring on your planet. The third density illusion, which is left behind from the fourth density, is full of misinformation and will put up a face of deception before your kind's visual complex. Even though the earth is now separating into the fourth and the third density vibration, the third density illusion still has the effect on the fourth density consciousness at these times, since this is the transition phase. I am Ra, and we leave you now in the love lights of the One Creator. Therefore, go forth and rejoice in the power and in the peace of the One Creator. Adonai.
So, my friends, I think you listened to the session, and I also listened to the session because I normally during the trance state I don't realize what Ra is saying. I am completely gone. So the thing I listened again and I realized was that Bill Gates in the year 2004 was suffering from something, okay, and his soul was switched. And I will tell you what soul switch means, okay, based on my understanding, because Ra has stated that in the next sessions he could explain in detail what a soul switch is, because this session was too long, I think. In essence, a soul switch is a soul leaving the physical vehicle and replaced by another soul. This happens when the soul is not able to handle the physical vehicle and the environment. Many a times this happens when people are suffering from disease or they are going through a traumatic situation in their life. And also I have I read it in a book that soul switch can occur when a soul before coming on earth has made soul contracts with some other entities. So in essence, if they have soul contracts at a certain timeline, they will immediately switch the soul and the personality will change. See, the most important thing about soul switch is that the personality changes. And if you look at Bill Gates, I think you will notice his personality has changed. He went from a computer person to a person who is interested in creating, these, the thing, right? And, buying land and all those stuff. He is rich enough. He is wealthy enough. He should have focused on something else for the betterment of humanity. But why is he, buying land, buying land and making, this thing? I have no idea, you know what I mean? And I think, from this session, I got the idea that, he wants to, genetically alter. He is in essence being swapped by a reptilian soul, and this reptilian is running the program of genetically mutating humanity. And also Ra has stated that the reptilians, they cannot come to Earth directly, so they will use any hostages like Bill Gates. Okay, Bill Gates is a soul switch, so they will use such people to run their programs. And I think people should be aware about this fact. This stuff is really mind blowing for me, and I never thought I would get this kind of information while doing the session. And also one more thing they have said is that on August 2021, the soul contract with the reptilians is ending for Bill Gates. So I don't know what will happen. Does that mean that Bill Gates' soul will be replaced again, or what will happen on that day? We have to see what happens to Bill Gates. And recently Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, they have said they are divorcing, and it turns out they are doing a drama in order to distract humanity from what they are doing. Because recently, if you see on the news, a lot of people are criticizing Bill Gates for his things about the the thing, right, and about the lands and all the stuff. A lot of criticism is going on, so they want to distract humanity by splitting. I think that's what Ra said. And what you understood, please leave your comment down below, and I send you love and light. I hope you have a wonderful day, and stay safe, and I send you love and light. The next sessions will be soon, so thank you so much.